This is the Sports Hounds Real Sports Bark Podcast, bringing you current events, news, NFL, NBA, MLB, soccer, UFC, boxing, and more. Make sure to hit us up on the website, thesportshound.com. And now, here's your host, Tigsta.
What is happening, everybody? It's yours truly, Tigsta, in another episode of the Sports Hounds Real Sports Bark Podcast. This is episode 13, the 2018 NBA Finals edition. We're finally here, you guys. It's down to two teams. And guess who those two teams is? Exactly. We're back at it again, fourth year in a row. We have the Golden State Warriors versus the Cleveland Cavaliers for the NBA title. Yeah, man, it's the, what they say, season 4. You know what I mean? Welcome to season 4 of the NBA Finals with these two teams. But that just lets you know the two top teams in both conferences. Even though they've both been pushed, because we have, let's get down to how we got to these final two. Let's go back a little bit just to the previous series, Eastern Conference Championship and the Western Conference Championship. So let's go to the East first, where we had the Boston Celtics versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. That series was an amazing series with LeBron James, another niche in his list of long accolades of his NBA career. This dude is like, okay, let's before we get into the game, let's talk about this dude here coming out of high school. Everything was on his shoulders. Everybody wanted to crown him king, the next Jordan, the next whoever. Okay, the GOAT discussion to me is not even a discussion at this point, because you cannot argue a man's career that is still playing versus a man's career who is retired. So we have set numbers and set, different awards and different peaks that, a certain player has reached in his career, to put him on a different echelon of pro players. LeBron's been in the league 15 years. He's 33 years old. I've seen players reach 40 in the NBA. Okay? I've seen it happen. I've seen them play in the NBA at 40 plus. So to not say LeBron won't make it to 40, let's just hindsight. Let's just say he makes it to 40. That means that's another 7 years of this dude. So let me break down his career for you. 7 years this dude will have left if he makes it to 40. Just say 40 is it. He reaches the age 40. He plays his final career game, and he's retired. But you still have to add. Right now, we're in discussions of this dude at 33 about his numbers surpassing Jordan's, surpassing Kareem, surpassing total points in the postseason by Jordan. He's passing this at 33. And if we're saying he has 7 more years left in the tank, that's another 7 years of stats. He's only been in the league 15 years. So 7 years is like another half of his current career. And let me explain what he has done in those 15 years. In those 15 years, this dude has made an appearance in the NBA Finals 9 times. 9 times out of 15 years, he's been to the finals. So, all in all, he spent more time of his career in the finals than he has not making it at all. You understand what I'm saying? We're talking about 9 in his career. 9 appearances. And we know the appearances is hard. The appearances, to me, getting to the finals is harder than actually playing in the finals. You know what I mean? Because you have multiple series that you have to go through even to get to the finals. The finals is one series, best of 7. That's it. That's the last one. After, if there's a game 7, there is no more. When you're going through round 1, round 2, and these are best of 7 series, it's a long period of time of playing basketball to get to the finals, and you're looking at a potential. Your potential is having 21 straight games before you get to the finals. And I'm meaning if the previous 3 series go 7 games, that's a maximum 7 games each series with 3 series. So we're talking about 21 straight games before you even see the finals. So let's do the math on that one and put it in perspective. 21 games. Okay, hear what I'm saying. 21 games is just over a quarter of an NBA season. And we're just talking about playoffs, though. A quarter of an NBA season with 82 games, you understand? A quarter of that. We're talking about 21 possibility of 21 games just in the playoffs, not including the finals, just the playoffs. The potential of 21 games being played is a quarter of a regular NBA season, but it's been compacted into a postseason against, you get one opponent per round. You know what I mean? It's not like 21 games and it's against 21 teams. You know what I mean? Where you got a different look every night. Different, you know what I mean? It's the same team that can adjust to you after game 2 or after game 1. Can also adjust after game 2. Can adjust after game. You're playing a chessboard game with the opposing team for the fact that you have to continuously see each other. It's a game of adjustments. If I see you throwing something at me in game 1, I'm gonna come back with this to see if I can counter that. Then you're gonna go back to the drawing room and try to counter that. So it's a chessboard. It's the last laugh. Whoever gets the last laugh, last best. You know what I mean? So whoever's the last man standing, winning the 4th game. Whoever wins the 4th game first in any of these series, that's it. You know what I mean? But that's just, think of 21 straight games in the playoffs to get to the finals. You got to go through an extra quarter of a season just to get to the finals. So, you know what I mean? It's, remarkable. For that dude to go 8 straight times, 9 in his career, I congratulate you. LeBron, he's up there. You know what I mean? And we can't start discussing the GOAT. We cannot compare this man to Jordan. You cannot compare this man to Kobe. Or vice versa. You can't compare them to him. Because like I said, this man's career is not over yet. Wait until he's finished with basketball and let's see what he has after that.
This is the Sports Hounds Real Sports Bark Podcast with your host, Tigsta.
This dude's been to the finals over half his career, and we're saying he has 7 years left. Let's say he goes to the finals 4 more times after this year. You know what I mean? This year is not up yet. You're still in the finals against the Warriors, so you do have a chance of winning. Some may not give you a chance because of your team compared to their team, but you never know. That's why you have to play the game. You never know. Because if he happens to go in here and he wins and gets another ring, which brings this count to 4, that means 2 behind Jordan. Now, if we're saying he has 7 years left in his career and he goes to over half of his career average-wise like he's done now, we'll say out of 7 years he gets to the final 4 times. He only has to bat 500. You understand? He only has to go out of the next 7 years and he goes to the final 4 times, all he has to do is win half of that. 2 finals in the next 7 years will tie him with Jordan, and I guarantee you he will have more points, more rebounds, more assists than Jordan. But see, you guys are all wrapped up in someone taking over Jordan, or maybe it's just the fact that that someone is LeBron James. This happens. It's the circle of life. There's always someone behind. And it's not a knock on the one ahead because the one ahead probably had something to do with the one behind passing them. Jordan had a lot to do with LeBron James. All right? You guys understand this. Jordan had a lot to do with LeBron James's career because this is one man that LeBron said out of his own mouth was one of the ones he idolized. So indirectly, Jordan had something to do with the person who will be crowned above him after his career is done. I mean, it's just you can't deny that. But that's part of Jordan because, and the next one that's coming behind LeBron is going to have Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron to look up and mimic their game after. So now he got three great players that he can pull from. You understand? It's always meant for someone to get better. There's going to be someone that's going to be faster, that can jump higher, that can shoot better, that can score. And then the other thing is that we don't account is the God-given ability. For LeBron James to be his height and weight and be able to move like he does, that is a God-given talent. Because think of this like this. Say, for instance, Michael Jordan. If Michael Jordan, with his game, let's not change his game. Let's give him the same exact game he had when in his career. Imagine Michael Jordan at the same height and weight as LeBron James, able to do everything he does. Now you understand what I'm saying? The God-given aspect. See, Jordan had to work on shooting. He had to work on defense. But he didn't have to work at his ability to have above the rim, and it just seems like he just floats. Some people have that natural, you know what I mean? That natural God-given athleticism that changes the game. LeBron has that changes the game. LeBron James, this is how I sum him up. Imagine the build, the height, the weight of Karl Malone. Okay, we got Karl Malone, the way he's built. Now, well, imagine if Karl Malone had above the rim game like Michael Jordan. And what if he can see the court and make passes like magic? See, that's LeBron James. LeBron James is built like Karl Malone. Karl Malone never really got injured. Karl Malone played until he was 40, 41, 42, if I remember right. I know when the Lakers brought him in with Gary Payton, that they had already three-peated. They was going for a four-peat, but the Pistons with them bad boys, man, hey, with Ben Wallace and them came through. But he was at the end of his career, but we're talking about in his early 40s. So LeBron built like that, healthy like that, but has a game above the rim like Jordan, but can pass and see the court like magic. Come on now. Come on. You don't want to give this man his props. I can understand. I mean, if you got an idol and there's someone that's a threat to your idol, tear down the threat. You know what I mean? And it's all, and just it's all fun and games, with discussion and sports talk and everybody's opinion on what is the GOAT, who is the GOAT. Some say Jordan, but there's others before Jordan that was more dominant and has more rings and more finals appearance. Bill Russell, you know what I mean? You had dudes that was like one ring behind Jordan had 6 and you had Magic with 5. You know what I mean? But it comes down to, if you step away from it, take the names off the back of the jerseys and just look at their stats. Look at their stats. If you see no name and you just seen how many points per game, how many assists, how many rebounds, how many steals, how many blocked shots, all that. You see all that. How many finals appearances, how many finals wins, how many MVPs of the finals, how many MVPs of the regular season. You have to look at everything. And that's why I said to even have this discussion as far as who is the GOAT now is ridiculous. Jordan is the GOAT now, hands down. Because that's what the media crowned him, and that's what people, fans, and so forth crowned him. Jordan is considered the GOAT because I think he evolved the game. Now, when you talk about GOAT, to me, you have to add that aspect into it all also. Not just his stats, but also how did he change? Did he change the game? You know what I mean? And Jordan changed the game. He changed the game. When he came in at above the rim, and just his hang time and his shot creation, and it changed the game. Okay? Kobe didn't change the game because Kobe to me wasn't a duplicate of Jordan.
You want sports? We got it right here. This is the Sports Hounds Real Sports Bark Podcast.
Same moves, same everything, same area. It was Jordan's identical, and Jordan even said it. Jordan said something about who would he have a harder time playing one-on-one against, LeBron or Kobe, and Jordan want to say Kobe because Kobe plays like him, has his moves. How would that be harder if you knew what he's going to do? That's like, John Gruden with the Bucks going up against the Raiders that he built and knew the offense and knew, every offensive player's tendencies, you know what I mean? So how could that possibly be Kobe would be harder for you to play one-on-one because he's your mirror image? Then you would know what he's going to do. You know what I mean? LeBron on the second hand, I mean, you play him one-on-one, the dude's backing you down. You know what I mean? He can jump just as high as you can jump, but he's thicker. He weighs more, have more height. You know what I mean? Wingspan is wider. So defensively, he'll be on you. You'll try to use quickness, but it ain't like he's slow-footed, But, yeah, man, back to it again. It's LeBron, dude, is just, when you have somebody this good with this kind of skill set, even if you like the dude, even if you don't, you have to sit back and just admire what he's doing. Because me, speaking on my behalf, I was lucky. I think I'm lucky to be able to remember Jordan in his playing time and also be able to experience LeBron and Kobe. You know what I mean? I done seen great players come and go. And I know there's going to be a day when they go. So you have to admire and appreciate it now. You don't have to root for their team. You don't have to root for them. But just watch them play. Watch what he does in his career. He's done so much already. You know what I mean? And you figure we still got another stint left in his career depending on how far he wants to go. You know what I mean? He could be like Brady. You know what I mean? Just one of them ones that just don't age and just stays the same. Probably won't start aging until he hits 50. You know what I mean? He might skip a whole decade. So, you know what I mean? 40 might not be nothing. He might be right now he's playing like he's in his mid to late 20s. Not even late 20s, like he's in his early mid 20s. That's his game. This is the best career. Like this year was his best year he had in his career. He played all 82 games, first time ever. So don't tell me he's not playing like he's in his early 20s, because the dude could have did it then. He was younger, you know what I mean? But he keeps surprising people, you know what I mean? But okay, let's get to this finals talk. Okay, that's LeBron. Okay, but anyway, so we had the Cleveland Cavaliers going 7 games with the Boston Celtics. Now we know there was no Kyrie Irving, there was no Gordon Hayward, but the supporting cast that Boston has a damn good bench, damn good supporting cast. This team is going to be one to reckon with in the East. I guarantee you that. I don't care if LeBron stays in the conference or if he leaves, Boston is going to be the one because they have their team built. Okay? To me, there's nothing else they have to add. All they have to do is wait for their 2 veteran cornerstones to come back healthy. That's all they need. Because then those 2 that's in the starting lineup replacing Irving and Hayward now goes to the bench. So now your bench just got deeper. You know what I mean? By two. We can't really say an exchange because Kyrie and Brandon Hayward, or Gordon Hayward, they're not playing. So it's not like they're coming off the bench to, come into the game later. They're not playing, period. So whoever's starting in the 5 now in the place of those 2, they will become bench role players. But it adds depth because you're going to add 2 players that's better than the 2 going to the bench. But the 2 was still productive in the playoffs. So, yeah, Boston went out 7 games against Cleveland. LeBron stepped up and did his thing. So now that's the Eastern Conference representative is Cleveland Cavaliers going to the finals this year. On the Western side, we had the Houston Rockets versus the Golden State Warriors, and that too went 7 games. This was a good series. Each team was doing their thing. You know what I mean? I mean, it started off with Golden State winning game one. Then Houston came back and won game two. Then they go back to Golden State, and Golden State wins game three. Houston win game four. So they stole one back off the Warriors' court, like the Warriors did in game one. Um, so after game four, they go back to Houston, which Houston wins. So that's game five. Game six. Yep, was uh game six was in Golden State. And I think Golden State won that game to tie it up to 3-3. And then game seven. Let's not forget that in that game six you had Chris Paul going down with injury, a hamstring. So he didn't play in game six, and he didn't play in game seven. So yeah, he injury bug is bad. It depends on when you get hit with it, and sometimes they hit you at the wrong time. Um, but yeah, man, I look forward to that dude getting healthy. He's gonna be a free agent, unrestricted free agent this year. So, does he resign back with Houston? Does he test the waters and find another situation to go to? Um, who needs a starting point guard? Um, but I think Houston's gonna do what they can to keep. Might as well keep them there. They're contenders. All Houston needs is another piece, which we all know that they were looking for because they were involved with talks with the New York Knicks for Carmelo Anthony. I guess at the trade deadline, but Oklahoma City stepped in with a better package to offer the Knicks and made the trade and got Carmelo themselves. But I know Houston was after that. So if they're looking for a small forward, dare I say LeBron James, but that's another rumor floating out there. Could happen. We'll see. That would make that team stronger.
This is the Sports Hounds Real Sports Bark Podcast with your host, Tigsta.
And I'm talking about championship over the Golden State Warriors contenders, but you have to wait and see. We can't guess. So yeah, we have the Warriors winning in Game 7 over the Houston Rockets. So now we have, for the fourth year in a row, the Golden State Warriors versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. This should be interesting. This is a new team that Cleveland is basically bringing forth to the finals due to trades made at the deadline this year. After trading Kyrie to Boston, getting Isaiah Thomas, and then turn around trading Isaiah Thomas, So I mean, you add some good young pieces. I don't know at this point in LeBron's career. Does he want to stick around and rebuild? But that's another discussion. We'll talk free agency when free agency is upon us. But now let's get into these finals. But as far as matchup go, it depends. It really depends. Golden State has a better team, but after watching what Houston did, where Houston got into their chest, was real aggressive with shooters. Cleveland does have shooters. Now, whether they're consistent or not, that's a whole nother subject. But they do have shooters. But let's see. They should get Kevin Love back. Kevin Love had missed more than 1 3/4 of a game with a concussion that he received playing against Boston. So he was out with a concussion. He missed Game 7, and he missed the remainder of Game 6 when that injury occurred. But I do expect him Thursday, suited, starting lineup for Game 1 of the NBA Finals. So, yeah, I think matchup-wise, it's going to have to be... I'll tell you my keys. My keys to this Finals is going to be bench play and consistency. That's the two things right there. Defense is going to be there. You could play defense when your shot ain't falling. So defense, it holds more weight to me than scoring. Scoring, you can go cold and shit. There's not really anything you can do about that, but just keep shooting. Defense, Nah, defense. You can play defense whenever. You know what I mean. The ball's not in your hand. You just gotta put all in for it and grind. You know what I mean. You have to grind. But yeah, defense. So I see consistency on scoring and the bench for this finals. Whoever benches outplay because I know they're gonna rest because Cleveland is one of them defensive players like Houston is. They got quickness. They can rotate. They can switch off. They got some length. Also, so I can see. Yeah, man. It's the bench and consistency of the starters as far as scoring consistency. They're gonna have to need to put some points on the board. You know, especially LeBron's team. Warriors team, it all depends on the Curry. Curry should do his thing. But see, if you notice the difference when Curry's on, then you got somebody like Durant that's going to lag off because Curry gets the green light to shoot. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, it's going to be interesting, man. I want to see this one. See, even though it's the fourth version, because I want to see. I think they said Vegas has the Cleveland Cavaliers as the top rated underdogs in 16 years. In 16 years, there has been no underdog rated this low than Cleveland in the finals. You know, so here we go. Do we look at that stat or do we look at the hearts of men? You know what I mean? And so far, the hearts of one man, he's been coming through. You know what I mean? Some say he doesn't have the help. But that man, he throws that cape on every game. You got to call that man Superman because, man, he giving everybody the business right now. You know what I mean? And it's like, he just told the team, jump on my shoulders. But the team can't keep doing that. You got to show up. You got to give in effort and in production as LeBron James does. So he gives you his all. He goes out there and he balls. But, man, these finals is coming to you. Thursday. Let's get ready. Hope y'all got your popcorn ready. Because I got mine ready. You know what I mean? So I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of the Sports Bark or Real Sports Bark podcast from the Sports Hound. Episode 13, 2018 NBA Finals edition with yours truly, Tixter. This is what we see is going to happen. This is our commentation on the finals. We don't know if it's going to be Cleveland or the Warriors. A lot of Warrior fans is pulling for their team. A lot of Cleveland fans pulling for their. But I think, you know what I mean, as far as the matchups go, you would give the favorite to the Warriors overall roster and help on that team over Cleveland. I mean, they got better players than Cleveland do. But Cleveland has the best player. So we got the best player versus the best team. Let's see how this unfolds. We've seen it the previous 3 years with the Warriors winning, Cleveland winning, Warriors winning last year with the addition of Durant. Now we have a new Cleveland's team that's young. Maybe these young guns can get out there and you know, play their hearts out and don't know better to play bad, you know, and have no fear. So let's see how this unfolds. Man, I can't really give a. Let me see. Who would I say will win and in how many games? Realistically, I would say the way it looks, you would say the Warriors would win in about, I'll give them 6 games. I think the Warriors can finish off Cleveland in the 6 games. That's realistic. That's being a realist. Because I think Cleveland can get a couple of games. All you need is two of the best games you can out of LeBron. He'll get you 2 wins. But for him to play like that, if the rest of the team doesn't step up, then on paper, Warriors in 6. You heard it here. Tixer said it. Warriors in 6. We'll see what happens. Yes, sir. And once again, thank you for tuning in to the Sports Hounds Real Sports Bark podcast with yours truly, Tixter. Thank you, and I'm out.
Thanks for checking out the Sports Hounds Real Sports Bark podcast. For more exclusive content, follow us on all social media. Twitter, SportsHound 24/7. Instagram, SportsHound Media. Facebook, SportsHound Media. And on the website at thesportshound.com. And tell your damn friends about the hottest sports podcast on the web.